The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Corporation.
Right. Get yourselves together. Right. Stand up and live your life. Right. Get yourselves together. Right. Hands up high.
Welcome to the Rise Above Show. I am Joe Peroni.
I'm Heidi Mancini.
And tell everybody about our sponsors.
We want to thank Jay Jung from City Athletic Club for partnering with the Rise Above Show so that we can bring you great programs and great guests. And we also want to thank Marie Blake Luck for prepping our food for us. And she's also a partner of our show too, also to help Joe and I, so we can put great programs together every week for everybody.
And she makes great food.
Excellent. Have you called yet?
I haven't called yet. I haven't made the call.
Oh, you will.
Have you made the call? I haven't made the call yet.
That was put him on the spot.
Yep.
So today we have a very special guest. He is the most celebrated makeup artist in the world. And not only that, he is an absolute innovator. He has his own lines. You've got all that too. So much. And I want you to say most of it because I know I'm going to ruin it. Anyway, this is Scott Barnes, everybody.
Thank you. I love our one person in the audience.
What am I, Chuck Liver?
John, yeah.
You're controlling things over there.
So, Scott, take it from the top. Just in case somebody doesn't know who you are.
Well,
they've seen all your work.
Yeah, I'm sure. Unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably seen something I've done. I was a celebrity makeup artist, or they call me a celebrity makeup artist. I work with primarily celebrities throughout my career. I have over 450 magazine covers to my name. 121 music videos, about to do 122 next Monday.
All right.
Oscar nomination for a film that I did. And I wrote 2 books. I have a cosmetic line and, just did a lot in my little life.
This is your...
So
one of my products, Body Bling.
Yes. So how has that changed your life and changed some other people's lives?
This has changed my life in a way that I can't even explain. Actually, it's funny how I always say necessity is the mother of invention, right?
Yes.
So I was at an MTV shoot, Fashionably Loud with Maury Povich. Or Jerry Springer.
Jerry Springer.
Yes, it was a Jerry Springer break. Remember the thong song?
I do.
Yeah, that was playing big. So we had all these models, and they said, these girls have to look tan. And they were all coming in from New York, and it was spring break. So everybody was white. And I was like, oh, shit, what am I going to do? So I went back to my room, and I had my protein shake blender thing with me, my little bullet. And back then, I got it at some Korean market. And I looked at my assistant. I'm like, okay, we got to throw everything in there. And I came up with Body Bling. Like, that's where it actually was born, in Mexico. In the hotel room in, Mexico. I was like, and then we put it all, it's great. And then I started working with J-Lo right after that, and then everybody was like, how does Jennifer glowing like that? And I was like, well, Body Bling, the J-Lo glow.
And it goes on nice. It goes smooth, and it doesn't smell.
It doesn't smell, and it's got, it's not a self-tanner. It's really just like a body makeup. My whole thing was like, why stop at the face when you can do your whole body?
Right.
Why just make your face perfect when your whole body can be perfect?
Could you put it on Heidi right now?
Could I?
Well, that's what I tell Joe all the time. I said, when women do their faces, I mean, it's all fine, but then you take your clothes off, and if you haven't done the rest of it with cosmetic or whatever we're going to do, it's kind of, ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, I think sometimes...
And I'm glad you explained that to me, because I was telling my friends it was a tanner, and I'm glad that you corrected that it's not really a tanner.
It's a bronzer. It's a body bronzer, but it's not a self-tanner. And the whole purpose of this was also, I started doing all these shoots with celebrities, and it was like, okay, like if I was working with Julianne Moore, who's very pale, so I would use the platinum on her. I would go on, we'd do an in-style cover, and the next day she had to be on a movie set where there's continuity. And from doing a few films, I don't really do that a lot, it was, I realized that she had to be the same character every day. So if you couldn't do a self-tanner.
Right.
here's this woman who's white in this scene, and next day she's brown. Like, there would be a continuity issue. So this washes off. It was great. It's like immediate. There's no waiting around like 4 hours from now. Now I'm going to smell like, chemicals.
Yeah, chemicals, yeah.
I hate that smell. It's gross. I mean, I self-tan because I don't go in the sun. I lost my brother to cancer, skin cancer. So it's a funny thing, which is a whole another topic. So
yeah.
What else you got for me?
So let's.
What else you got for me?
Let's be clear. When women look at Jennifer Lopez and they love her look, and that's you, right? Like, you're the one who put that look together. I
did.
I don't know anything about it, but that's monochromatic, faux glow. All these words keep popping up.
Yeah, every time with my name, it's like, well, I think what's interesting about my career, and I think this goes for anybody, is people are like, I do these seminars all over the world and makeup shows, and people are like, how did you get this? And I'm like, you don't set out to get this. You do the best you can, and then people come along and they go, hey, you know what, this is amazing. And you just do you, and then hopefully people notice it, and they go, wow, you're amazing. And sometimes they don't, sometimes they go, you suck.
One thing Joe was saying to me when you do your videos, and he says, well, if he's giving his makeup secrets away, people can copy that. And I said, they not necessarily, and you correct me if I'm wrong, because I've done limited amount of makeup, I do hair.
Yeah.
I said, there is a softness and a touch when you're doing an application that makeup artists know how much pressure to put on the brush, how to dust, if it smudges. And
I started out as a fine arts painter.
Okay.
So that's, I think, where my difference is. I'll tell you a funny story about that. I was working for a photographer to make ends meet when I was going to school, and the photographer, I used to, back then we didn't have digital, so we were winding cameras and developing film, and I was doing lighting. And he was like, and I used to use the space to paint in when I wasn't doing photography stuff with him. And he said, you should do makeup. And I was like, so not interested at all. Because all the makeup artists that came in had a certain
you don't look like a makeup artist.
Persona. Yeah, there was a persona that went with it, and I was like this.
No.
And so I did it, and I was horrible at it. And something about me is I don't like to suck too bad. I'm like, I sucked. I didn't suck just a little. I sucked really bad. So I was like, okay, how can I paint a Renaissance painting, but I cannot do this? This looks so easy to me. And then, so when I hear women say, "Oh my God, I have such a hard time doing my makeup," I'm like, I get it, because I couldn't do it either. But what I did was, the photographer just said gently, it's amazing how people will say things in your life, right? And it just kind of sticks with you. And he goes, just do what you do, like how you paint. And I was like, oh, because I was doing what I thought everybody else did, which was, the applicator, the sponge, the this, the that, and then he would watch me mix all my own, and I would use egg yolks and all these other things inside the paints and stuff, so he would see how I would do all that, and he was like, you gotta mix all your colors like the way you do with the palette knife, and so I started painting like that. I started painting the face like the way with light and dimension. So this is where that faux glow comes from, because it really looks lit from within, and it's something that I created. Nobody else can say that they created it. People say, oh, it's been copied, but I created it.
And you could try and copy it, and it's still, I don't think...
It was a movement. What was interesting is, like, all of a sudden, and then you get somebody like Jennifer Lopez, who was beautiful, and is beautiful, but then you get to put your thing on this person that's so gorgeous. All of a sudden, it's like the whole world was like, the most beautiful woman in the world, and it was like the two of us together made a symphony. You know what I'm saying? And that's, I mean, you could be the best painter in the world, and you could be the best, but if you don't have the best subject.
So it's like being a good writer and being able to hand a song to Celine Dion.
Right.
Something like that. So you found your muse? Is that what you call it?
Yeah, it's a muse. And Jennifer was interesting in the sense that no matter what kind of I did, she embodied it. That's what's great about her. That's the actress in her. That's the person that's like, yes, if you give her, like I put fox eyelashes on her. There were no such thing as mink eyelashes and fox eyelashes. I created that. So there's a whole category now, and I'm like, and it's funny because I had this girl say, you're going to sell mink eyelashes? And I'm like, baby, I created this. Like, look it up. And it's like, and she just stared at me. I was like, yeah, you're not the one. You think you made this up? It's like, it came from me. I went to Shu Amura, who's a Japanese makeup artist, and designer. You know, he had his own line and worked in Hollywood. He was older, and I worked for him for a while, for 3 months, and lived in Tokyo and redid his line for him. You know, he chose me out of 14 makeup artists in New York, and I went, and he said to me, he didn't speak English very well at all. He did personally with me, but he wasn't comfortable speaking English, so I went to him and I said, Shu, can you make me some fox eyelashes or mink or something? I need animal, because when you look at false eyelashes, they're all been cut, so they're very blunt on the ends. And then there's the synthetic lashes, which are awful, and they're shiny, and they're black and plastic. It's gross. So and I said, well, I used to look at all these old films, and I was like, how did they get the hairs to look like they were just hairs? You know, like they were coming out and they were pointy. So I said, it's got to be some sort of animal hair. There's got to be something here. I don't know if it can be done. I'm going to see. So I call him up, and he sends me these eyelashes. They look like a fur coat. You know, it was just awful. And I said, it's not going to work. And he goes, yeah, no, I know. So we went back and forth about 5 or 6 times. And finally, just before the Oscars, I got a pair of fox fur and then a pair of minks. And I said, so what do I do with these, you know? And I said, Jennifer, I brought, you know, really kind of over-the-top lashes for the Oscars. And she had this beautiful Chanel dress on. And of course, we're all sitting there, oh my God, you look amazing, you know, and she comes out in this Chanel dress and she says, can you see through it? And we said, no, which you couldn't really see through it. Well, she stepped out on stage and it was like boobs, tits in your face. It was like, all of a sudden the camera angle went from wide to like, which was great for me, okay? So it was one of those magical moments where it was like, face, beauty shot. The whole entire speech. I was like, yes! It went for, you know, because normally they're in these wide shots, you know, and I was like, this is great. And she had the fox eyelashes on, and it matched her hair color, and it was, everybody kind of went nuts. And People Magazine every year reprint this 200 of the most amazing things that's ever happened at the Oscars, and it's one of them. So I was like, wow, it's these things that just happen, and you're like, it doesn't happen because you set out to make them happen. It just happens. You can't make stuff like that up, you know?
You know, there's so many things you say in there that's interesting, and we've had some great conversations over the last 3 weeks or so.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying it, by the way, because most of the time we've talked about the Bible, we've talked about literature, we've talked about this stuff. And one of the things that we did talk about is kind of what you're talking about now, is the ability to look at something in a whole new way.
Yes.
Right? Like, a lot of self-help gurus, supposedly, what they'll do is they tell people, follow your passion and then see where it takes you. But I think what you're saying here is, follow your skill, what you already have.
Right.
And then you have no idea where that can go, and then you put a whole new perspective
I call
on
it the Dan Barnes theory. It's my father. My dad was a floor sweeper at General Motors and then became an engineer, and from being an engineer, he helped create the kneeling bus. They came to my father and said, hey, we need to have this bus tip for elderly and handicapped people. Can you do this? And my dad was like, yeah, sure. You know, and my dad does things in a little bit of a crude way, but figured it out, and him and another engineer, and then they went around all over the United States retrofitting all the original buses. Instead of just scrapping the buses, they said, okay, we can retrofit all these buses to... So my dad always would say, it doesn't matter what you do in life, whether you're a gas station attendant, be the best.
Right.
Do something that nobody else can beat you at. Know your craft, know your skill, be amazing at it. Perfect it, you know, and everything else will happen. You know, I'm trying, you know, and I have a son, and I'm constantly telling him, you know, if you set out to be famous, you're never going to get famous. It's all the wrong reasons. You know, you can't date a girl because she's popular. You got to date a girl because you like her, you know, because where the heart leads, everything else goes. So whether it's you're passionate about work, whether you have to be passionate about things. What gets you up in the morning? What's this? Right. Oh my God, I love this. I have to do more of this. And that's what, out of that comes what you consider genius. You know what I mean? Yeah. When you look at Mozart, he was like passionate about his music playing, right? All these people that we still listen to or inspire us or shape the way that we are is all because they had a love and a passion for something. It wasn't somebody that was like, hey, I'm going to set out to have a ton of chicks, drive around in a Maserati. You know, like that's not the goal.
Right.
Those are subsequential things that happen. But I always say, what if you were stripped of all these things? What do you have? Your integrity, right? And whether or not, like, you could be the biggest motherfucker on the planet, right? But are you good at what you do?
Right.
So, because people can hate you and be like, yeah, I hate him, but man, he's good. If you need this done, he's the one to go to. And that's the legacy that you want to leave behind. You know, right? It's a legacy.
Absolutely. It's my favorite word.
Legacy.
Yeah, and you kind of touched on it now too.
Are you easy to work with?
I'm easy to work with. What I don't like is curveballs. I don't like when people try to surprise me with stuff. I like to know what's going on because I'm a prepper. Whether it's mentally, physically, I have to prep for things. I need to know where we're going, what time I'm going to be there, so I can plan out what my life has to do in order to be the best at my optimal. I don't like when people are like, boom, this is what you're doing. I hate that. It makes me cranky pants. And then that crankiness kind of spills out all over the place. Because I like to say, okay, I have all these things lined up for this, and this is what I can bring to the table, and here's what my ideas are, and these are the things that I can do to make this happen.
So you're preparing.
Always.
Right,
Yeah. Like I have a music shoot, and I'm like, I need the treatment. I need to know, I know the song, but I need to know, because I've been listening to the song all week, in the last 3 weeks. So I'm like, okay, I know what the song is. I don't speak Spanish, but I understand the song. I understand what it means. And so now I'm looking at all the treatment. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm bringing to the table. It'll be fun.
Now, going back to the innovator thing, because that really interests me. Because, we have some time?
You're fine.
Yeah? Okay. Going back to the innovator thing, because that really interests me. Because there's a difference between doing something and just making money and being part of the herd, and somebody like you, who is the one that everybody's looking towards. Now, I know there were people before you, but I'm not
amazing people.
Yeah, but I'm not so sure you really wanted to follow in their footsteps, right? You just kind of took a look at what they did.
I didn't know much about them. Right. To be honest, I learned about them more afterwards, which was great. Like Way Bandy was somebody that it wasn't like, oh, I want to be like him. I used to see things that he would do, and I was like, this is amazing. What you have to remember is people like Way Bandy, they came along and they said, hey, I'm a makeup artist. And the photographer said, I need this person to do my makeup for my shoots. And it was Francesco Scavullo, who I had the privilege to work with toward the end of his career. And it was a dream of mine. But Way was people that before that, women used to do their own makeup. They'd come into the studio and they had to learn models knew how to do their own hair and they knew how to do their own makeup. Verushka, you go back to the 50s, and those women did their own faces. So when you look at those old fashioned photography, it was quite amazing to see eyes and lips and everything done by themselves, So, and I was like, they were very skilled people to do their own hair. I mean, these were elaborate hairdos too. It wasn't like my hair straight and brushing it, like the 70s, right? This was the 50s. We're talking about an updo with like craziness. These women did this themselves. So before Way Bandy, there was no makeup artist that was doing, okay, I'm the makeup artist and this is my rate, right? There was a job now. There's a job market created for us on a creative level. So before him, there wasn't really a big space for that.
Right.
And then Kevin Aquan came along, and he was more of that 90s, 80s, like late 80s into the 90s supermodel era. And he made it where the rate was like, it went from that to $6,000 a day, And it was like, and then of course everybody hated us, all the publicists, all the film and music industry was like, oh, these awful makeup artists with these rates. And they get paid more than we do, and this isn't fair, and how could they? And I'm like, well, we're making imagery for your albums so that they sell, and your movie posters, and your celebrity, so that everybody buys your product. When people ask me what I do, this is what I say. And it's true. I take extraordinary people with extraordinary talent, and I have to match their face with their talent. Because not everybody is a supermodel, right?
Right.
People that are really talented, they're kind of like not always the prettiest girl in the crowd. So you got to make them match what they can do, right? So that they have the confidence. It's almost like armor, It's like this is a woman, right? You walk out there, you're like, okay, I can conquer the world. Why? Because I got my armor on, And a lot of feminists hate when I say stuff like that. They just hate me. They're like throwing rocks at me, and oatmeal, and I'm like, don't throw the oatmeal at me. Tree hugger. I'm like, you wear Birkenstocks. You don't even wear makeup. I love a high heel. I'm like, listen, you come sit in my chair, you got to wear a high heel.
I'm going to ask you a question.
You're going to get a beautiful face.
Do women wear the heels and the makeup for the men or for themselves?
Both. Usually for other women.
Okay.
Because you hear women talk about, so-and-so's going to be there.
Because we do that. We ask each other what the other one's wearing.
Yes,
and it's like, are you wearing a dress or what are you wearing? Well, I think I'm going to wear my short dress, and then we could do the
There's
whole...
an old song called Girl Talk. Have you ever heard it?
No.
Julie London, like from the 50s. Like very loungy. But that's what she talks about. She's like, we sit around for hours talking about bullshit. Dresses and what we're going to wear and what the neighbor's doing. And men could give two shits. And basically she goes, and this is what we do all day long. It's girl talk. We talk about our dresses. And that's what they do. Girls always go, well, she's going to be there and I want to make sure I look better than her. And the reason why girls ask what the other one's wearing is so the other one can outdo the other one. This is why the Housewives of Beverly Hills and all these housewives are such a huge franchise because
and women watch it more than men
because they outdo each other. That's what the whole deal is, right? It's like I got more money, I got a bigger house, I got 2 private planes. You don't have anything. It's like you're on the welfare and I got the plane. It's like it's the whole franchise is based on that. So it's one-upping.
So from the best makeup artist in the world, let me ask you this. What do you consider then to be a beautiful woman? Right?
Well,
there's a lot of women going, well, maybe I can't afford to have
well, that's why my first book was so well.
Artist.
Yeah, agreed. And it's funny because I touch on that. And why I went, when I wrote my first book about face, and Jennifer was on the cover. She sat for the cover for me. And she wrote the foreword to the book, Jennifer Lopez. And I said to her, just tell me what your experience was. That's all I want you to write about. So she did, and it's quite touching. But I started digging, and I was like, what's the first transformation story that I'm aware of, right? When you start looking, and everybody was like, oh, it's Cleopatra, it's this, it's that, and it's Nefertiti. And I'm like, no, they were queens. Like, they were born into that, or they were primed into that, no matter how ancient it was, into that place. They were appointed there. Who actually transformed? Like, My Fair Lady, amazing. Cinderella, amazing. Gigi, amazing. These are all amazing transformation stories where girls from humble beginnings and meager beginnings become amazing. Through grace, through dignity, through style, through beauty. Why? Okay. Because they bolstered the people around them. So who's the oldest transformation story like that? And I was like, okay, Esther. Esther is the oldest transformation story. It's biblical. Okay, it's 2,000 years old. Esther was the daughter of a goat herder. I was like, she probably, like, if you would imagine what a goat herder daughter looked like, she probably had one unibrow, right? It's just right across the middle. And so her parents both subsequently died, which I always think God has a plan for all of us, right? So here she goes to live with her uncle, and she goes to the city. So from the goat herding to the city, kind of city-ish. Then she gets captured because she's a single female, right? So she gets rounded up by eunuchs, nonetheless, and held captive. And so all the other girls are freaking out. We're held captive. We're prisoners. This sucks. And she's looking at this like, my life couldn't get any suckier, right? I've got a unibrow. My parents are dead. I'm living in the city, right? Let me make the best of this. So she changed the way she looked. The way she bathed. She bathed in different oils. All because she was like, I'm looking at this as an opportunity. Everybody else is looking at this like, this is failure. I'm looking at this like, I can get out of this. Or I can get to a better place. Subsequently finds favor with the king. The king makes her the queen. She saves an entire race of people. Based off her beauty. Because he falls in love with her so much that she's like, no, I'm Jewish. Don't kill all the Jewish people. And he goes, okay, all right, I won't kill them. Okay, so that's really the essence of the whole thing. Yeah, there's a lot of parables in there, and there's a lot of double meanings in there. But I looked at it from a beauty standpoint, and I said, okay, if this woman was able to take her beauty and her charm and was able to change and shape a whole entire race of people, why can't every single person do that? Every woman has the strength and the beauty and the ability to be the best possible version of themselves, right? This is what I do. So I get you, and I take you, and I'm like, all right, let's make you amazing. Yeah. How to make you amazing. This is how we're going to do it.
So we basically have the same job. You just, you handle it from the makeup area, and I feel do it from the physical area.
How does that make you feel? Did any of that resonate with you at all as a woman?
It does.
What I was saying? Yeah.
It does.
Is it inspiring?
It is inspiring.
Yeah.
And it is something that takes work, though. When you're
unaware of it.
When you're unaware of it. And a lot of women spend their life struggling with that.
They do.
Until they get to a certain age or something happens in their life and they go, you know what, I'm just going to be who I need to be and forget all the frills. And then that's when you start to become more comfortable with yourself. I mean, not forget the frills.
I call it the fucking age.
The fucking age, exactly.
You're just like, fuck it, I look good.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
And then
They
you
don't
look,
like me. I don't
and then
care.
you look more attractive because you seem
Because you
more
feel that
secure
confidence.
because you're
It's
confident.
the that's the X factor. You know, I've been with women and you see them really uncomfortable. Celebrities. Oh, my hair's too curly. Oh, I got too much blush on. They freak out. And then you see somebody like Jennifer who just, she's a lion. She steps right into it. And even if it looks a little weird, she owns it. And it's like somehow you're like, she's so beautiful. And that's what it is. You fall in love with the fact that she's confident. And she owns it. It's like,
Yeah, confidence. That's big.
it's,
Very big.
well, that's the X factor. That's what
Absolutely.
makes you beautiful.
That's what he
Perfect.
tells me all the time.
Yeah.
I do tell you that all the time.
That sheepish stuff is like, okay, you're pretty, Mindy. You're the prettiest girl in the crowd. You know, it's, you know that's the girl that goes, I'm ugly, and everybody goes, no, you're
Oh,
not.
no, you're not.
You're so pretty. You know, and it's like you just want to just,
You're like, shoot yourself in the head.
yeah. And it's like, oh God, you know.
So we need to take a little break. We'll be right back after this message from our sponsor. Welcome back to the Rise Above Show. I'm Joe Peroni.
I'm Heidi
And we
Mancini.
have our special guest, Scott Barnes,
That's
with
me.
us today.
The Scott
All right,
factor.
so do you mind if I hit you with a couple of tougher questions?
Wait, before we do that, you had a birthday. Before we go into the tough shit,
All right, let's take over the show.
I brought you a little something.
Oh, no. Are you
Since
gonna
you trained
embarrass
me. No, I'm not going to embarrass you too bad. You got to close your eyes for a
You,
second.
you are
Close
looking
your eyes.
pretty big, too, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, I close my
Close your eyes. It's really because I know you don't eat cake, and you have a whole, thing coming. Look at it. I got you a cake. You can open your eyes.
Okay, wait.
God, that's great.
Awesome.
Are you familiar with the squishy?
No, but
Okay, these are all the. This is the new thing. Like all the kids love squishies.
cool.
You don't know about this?
I don't.
Okay, I'm
I
gonna
don't.
let you
You're gonna
play
have
with
to
it.
teach me.
First of all, you got to smell it.
Okay,
It
hold on.
smells like cake.
Oh, yeah.
Now squish it.
Does it smell?
You got to squish it.
Yeah, am I going to break some? Or?
Yeah, you squish it. It's a squishy.
Oh,
stress
cool.
squishy.
It's a stress swishy. Look at it. And then he comes
yeah,
back.
I'm
It's so perfect for you because
So
it's
you-
low calorie.
Maybe
Yeah.
hold it and it gets my veins out.
There you
too.
go.
Look at
See?
that.
There you
It's
go.
a
That's
squishy.
great.
Awesome.
It's your birthday squishy.
Cool.
That's great.
Thank you. I love
It
that.
smells, dude. Smell it. It smells.
Smells like cake.
It
Yeah,
smells.
Raspberry
look
cake.
At that.
Snuff it.
Hold it. That's like no calories right
Zero.
there. That's great.
And
cool.
you can lay it next to your pillow.
I don't want to tell you what I thought that was.
What'd you think?
I'm going to
it
be quiet. No.
Well,
I'll
hold it,
embarrass
hold it.
myself.
Scott,
was? Squishy boobs.
I thought it was.
They have
No, I don't
squishy
want to
boobs.
tell you what I thought that was.
what'd you think it was?
I love it. It's squishy. It's a stress ball. So when you
Oh, yeah,
get
no, I know what
stressed,
that is. What'd you think it was?
I'll keep that to myself. I like it.
I'll tell you later.
Very
All right,
nice.
anyway.
I just brought you a squishy. It's your first squishy. You'll collect them all now.
Awesome.
They have gold bars. They've got fruit. They've got peaches.
Cool.
I'm just gonna leave that peach. I'm gonna throw that peach thing out there.
The peach thing.
It looks like a butt. Just saying.
Thank you. Very cool.
Very nice.
By the way, you have a lot of muscle. You do
I do.
not look like a makeup artist.
No.
People tell you that?
Yeah, all
When
the
I
time.
posted your picture on Facebook, a couple of my girlfriends, they
He's a
were like,
makeup
"He's a
artist?
makeup artist."
I know, it's scary. I know, people think because you have muscle that it impedes your ability to do makeup. I'm like, I can do ballet, bitch. just because I'm big don't mean I'm not graceful. Be nice to me. Yeah. So this bodybuilding thing's kind of new for me. My partner Frank had won a couple of bodybuilding shows, and he's an amazing hairdresser. And he's like, I go through the same thing. People are like, they think because you're into bodybuilding that you're stupid.
Yeah, I get that. I get that all the time. I get it from this one.
People think that you're just dumb. It's like, I didn't get dumb. I got smarter. I'm living my life better. You know what it's taught me? Because I've always worked out my whole life, but always stayed very slim. But actually building muscle, I learned something that it doesn't happen overnight.
Right.
And there's days when it sucks. Where nothing feels like it's moving, and you're like, and you have these goals in your mind, and it teaches you patience, and it teaches you to be gentle with yourself, but also push. So, and a lot of discipline, and that discipline it goes into every area of your life. So I think it's a very important thing, and it's taught me to be patient with other people, even maybe they're not attaining their goals yet, and looking at them and being like, this is great, you're here, you're trying this, you know, instead of judging people because maybe they're not perfect or they're, you know.
Oh, I'm glad you found that. That's great.
But I think on that level, you know, people sometimes have a tendency to think that, you know, we're a bunch of meatheads and we don't know what's going on.
Well, that's why you're out in the world too, to educate them.
Yeah.
Or you don't have to be a female either and look like a man, because I get that.
I know.
Well, yeah, you don't look like a guy.
It gets a little.
I don't want to look like a guy.
It gets a little like, yeah.
I'm like,
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or I've had women say, you're too muscular. Men have never said that.
Don't they always wait?
A man has never said that, but a woman
when are you
go, well,
stop? How much bigger are you going to get?
How much bigger are you going to get? And I'm like,
how much bigger are you going to get?
I don't know. You should see some of the girls I hang out with if you think I'm big.
Yeah. You're like, I'm tiny.
Seriously.
I'm soft and
I'm
tiny.
a little one.
I'm the runt in the litter.
Yeah. And being a hairdresser too.
Yeah.
It's the same. They walk in, especially a first-time client.
Yeah.
They're like,
well,
they're surprised.
You're going to beat me up?
Don't
beat me up.
I don't know.
You know, that's the other one. Don't beat me up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
don't
like,
say
whatever.
that and I won't. How's that? We're good as long as you behave yourself. All right, here comes the hard questions. I can feel him. He's gearing up. He's like, I kind of know him already.
We did enough of the others.
The feel good stuff.
Yeah.
Now this is where we
you're obviously an overachiever, right?
A little bit.
Okay. And you get approval and appreciation from pretty much every girl all around the world. True?
A little bit.
All right. So I'm wondering what it's like in your home when you were a child. How much approval did you get from your own mother?
I didn't get any.
That's what I assumed from the first day I met you. I was
like, oh God. Yeah, no. It's funny too because I was like, okay, how did I wind up in this business? Right? So instead of me being closed off, I'm going to open up.
So I got you a little nervous now.
No. It's good. It's just like when you start talking about things that are a little deper, you start to close up a little bit. You know? You want to protect the heart. So we're going to open up a little bit and talk. I think when you're a kid, you get the parents that you need to have. That's how I made peace with my childhood. My parents are amazing, both of them. Loving people. My mom's capacity to love is very limited. Mostly because she doesn't love herself.
Right.
She doesn't care for herself. So she has a propensity to act out. No matter what you do for her, it's not enough. So you're in this perpetual state of like, I gotta please this person, I gotta please this person, I gotta please this person. And then the more when you're a kid, when somebody's mean to you, you try harder.
Right.
Right? Because this is what you're taught. So, of course, you get into a business where you're working with a bunch of celebrities, which nothing is good enough for them.
So you've been primed really well for this
birth.
job.
So I said, all right, God, you line me up with the most perfect mother in the whole world, because she said to me, yeah, you're going to get her because she's going to teach you how to be an adult and help you propel you into the life that you're going to lead. So I think sometimes, again, back to Esther, we get into these situations and they could look like a curse, but if you look at them like, wow, this was really a blessing, because if I had not had that upbringing or I had that mother, I would not have been able to handle the level of success that I have now with the people that I work with. So I know how to handle them, tap dance around them. What's changed now for me, as now I'm 49 years old, I'm very healthy.
Right.
So when people try to play this like little emotional game on me, I'm like, not doing this. And I'm just very clear about it. These are my parameters. Don't overstep my boundaries. I love you, and if you don't like it, then that's just bye. You know, I don't need you as much as you need me. And when you get into that mindset, and it's not rude, it's not out of anger, it's just this is the way it is, and this is my area. You know, I'm a space person. I love my space. I think space is really important. I don't like when people invade it. I'm really finicky about that. So this is your proverbial space. This is what I'm comfortable in. Don't overstep your boundaries, and we're going to be fine. Everybody will get along great. As soon as you start abusing me, we're done.
So as you become more healthy, people start to fight back, don't they?
They don't know what to do with it.
They don't know what to do with it.
Because they're used to, this business breeds unhealthy people that all have the memes. You know, me. What about me? You're not paying attention to me. You know, pay more attention to me. You know, it's like you're like, okay, you're the most beautiful girl, Mindy, in the whole. You're the prettiest cheerleader out of all of them, right? You go back to Mindy. You know, meanwhile, back at Mindy. So it kind of goes in a circle, and what you do is you give them a little bit of that because that's your job.
Right.
You know, you do it too. You're doing good. You're going to be a good. Yeah, come on, work out. You work out hard. Yup, that was a good set. You know, and that's the same thing. And when you mean it, you got to say it when you mean it. Don't lie. You know, don't feign affection or anything else. But also, it's not about this like worshiping and panting. And I can't do that. I just.
Is part of that the root cause of why you and Jennifer Lopez split up for a few years?
No. The root cause of that was other people. Her and I have always had no problem. It's all the people in between, managers, publicists, you know. And somebody said, you know, we don't need you for this event. She's not going.
Right.
And then at the last minute, they were like, she's going. And then told her that I pulled off on her because they would have to say, oh, you have no one. So instead of losing their job, they threw me under the bus.
They tried to make you lose yours.
And I just got tired of it. I was like, I can't do this, you know, and it was just awkward and hard and bad. And it just gets exhausting. And now I had a very similar situation happen with a different client, and I showed the email. I was like, here. And she was like, whoa. And I was like, yeah, I don't lie. It's not something I do. That's one thing I don't do. I'm painfully truthful, you know.
So how did you get so strong after such a rough beginning? Because a lot of people, when they kind of are brought up like that, they just buy into this whole learned helplessness, and they really just never figure it out. But you figured it out.
I hate when people... This is one of my pet peeves in life.
Mine too.
I don't like when people don't take responsibility for themselves. No matter what it is. You know, you drank all the milk out of the container, you didn't use the glass, and you left it on the counter, and it's spoiled. Who did that? Me. You know, or I don't know, it was him, the sun was in my eye, the mitt was too big, checks in the mail. I can't stand any of that. It just drives me. It's just be responsible. We are all responsible for ourselves, and it's such an easy thing just to take ownership of the shit that we do. And once you do that, there's nowhere for people to go.
But when you do that, when you take ownership over it, you're able to get better.
You're healthy.
Because you can say, okay, this is where I messed up, and this is where I'm owning it. Now what can I do to either not do that again, or if I'm going to do it again, at least improve upon it, or not,
be better.
Or be better.
Listen, I just had this conversation driving over with my son. I was on the phone with him, and I said, we all have the ability to wake up every day and go, today I can be better. Do the right thing, work harder, be stronger. The only thing you can do is be the best possible version of yourself today, right now. That's all you have is right now. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Stop weighing everything you do against what somebody else can do, because there will always be somebody better than you and worse than you. So all you can do is be you and be the best you that you can be. And being that best you is being responsible for your actions. If somebody's hurt by you and they say, you hurt me because of your words, you have to have ownership in that.
Right.
It's very important. And to say, okay, you know what? I did XYZ. Like, I stole $1 million from you. You know, yes, I did. And it was dumb. It was a dick move. I'm sorry. Here's it back. Let me make it up to you. Give me a second chance to be right, to make this right. Because I believe that we're all human. We all make mistakes. Everybody falls. And it's the smarter people that say, I fell. I can get up. Not like the commercial, I've fallen and I can't get up. I can get up and I can be better. Right? So you got to give it a little bit of like, you got both. How do I be better? Help me to help you be better.
Do you think that more women fall into that helplessness than men?
No.
They're not taking accountability, I guess.
I don't. I think it's I think it goes in pockets, if you want to know the truth, because I travel all over the world. And I noticed in California, where there's a lot of, everybody's going to hate me for this, liberals, and liberals have a propensity, everything is everybody else's fault and everybody else needs to fix it. And it's a weird thing and it's taught, it's learned behavior. And I think that if we start telling people, let's be responsible for ourselves, whatever that is. You know, you run out of gas in your car, you got to put gas in your car. It's not somebody else's responsibility. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like we're responsible for everything, whether it's the environment, whether it's politics, whatever you want to get into. We all play a part in what we do in this life, right? And there's no, you know, you came in here came out of the womb, there was not 3 other people with you. Am I right? You can't blame everybody else. You're like, I shit my diaper.
Shit my diaper.
There wasn't anybody else in your diaper with you. So it goes through our whole life like that. And then, that old story, Grandpa used to say it all the time, you're going to die alone. Meaning, you come into this world alone, you go out of this world alone. Mm-hmm. So all this blame that you do on this person and that person, you got to stop doing that. And realize that there's such solace in being your person, who I am. And then you let the light just generate outside of you and people come to you. And then it's an interaction. It's an energy exchange. We're made up of water, right? You know this?
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about that the other day, too.
Right, and energy is transferable. Water is transferable. Water is an energy conductor. So look at what we do. We're just beings of energy. So we got to interact with one another. Lift each other up. Make sure that your stuff is straight so that you can... Because what happens is you get these toxic people.
Oh, yeah.
And then they drain you.
But unfortunately, sometimes they're in our own family.
Yeah, of course
then there's
they
a
are.
certain amount of guilt when you pull back a little bit.
A lot of guilt.
Yeah, a lot of guilt.
I'm Italian. There's a lot of guilt. Trust. They start when you're about 2. As soon as you can clean the baseboards. There's guilt involved.
So if you found a happy place, so to speak, like let's say when you talk to your mom,
mm-hmm.
and you hear that, and you've grown.
Yeah, when my mom starts getting nuts, you know what I say to her?
Can you separate?
Oh my God, the phone's call. I got another call. I'm going to talk to you later.
You do that.
I love you to death. I'll talk to you later, Mom. Because what happens is she wants to engage. And what you have to do is love with with a detachment.
Right.
I love you, but I have elbow lock. The elbow is locked. You're here, and I love you. You can't get closer than that, because once you get closer, you scramble the eggs. Right? And I don't want scrambled eggs. I like my eggs whole. So I don't want scrambled eggs. Not today. And I tell her, she'll start this, and I'll say, I can't do this today. I'm too busy. I have too many things going on. I know you want to do this. You want to volley.
You're not playing.
I can't play with you. And she gets frustrated because she doesn't know what to do. And then I throw her off guard because she doesn't know what to say to that.
Because all her pain now stays inside of her.
I don't know if it's pain. I just think it's fun. Sport.
This is you say there's an evilness here. Just okay.
It's sport. It's like it's boredom. When you listen, I'm constantly. Why don't you go for a walk? Walk around. It's good for your body. Because it's funny. I always go back to did you ever see Legally Blonde?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So she's on the newsstand and she's like, how could she have killed him? And she's like, why? She's like, because, she exercises. Exercises release endorphins. Endorphins make you happy. Happy people don't kill people. Right? So this is what it is. Go for a walk and you won't be fighting with me. So I remember that all the time. I'm like, that's very true. Happy people don't kill people.
Yeah.
If your endorphins are released, you're in a good mood. You're like, yeah, right, whatever. I don't care.
Is your father still alive?
My dad's great. Yeah, my father's alive. My father left my mother. Smart. So, and she's like, why am I alone? And I'm like, gee, I don't know. It's like one of those things that's like, I know the answer to that.
But you don't want to say
you don't really want to hear it. I make her sound terrible, but she's, she's difficult. She's one of those people that are just and she thinks everything's everybody else's responsibility. Her happiness is your responsibility. And it's an entitlement thing.
Right.
And I don't think we're entitled to anything.
No, I agree. It's true.
I'm one of those people that is just I just want you to respect. Just be nice to me. That's it. That's what I feel like I'm entitled to. You just be nice to me, and then I'll be nice back. And I don't want you to be rough with me because then I'm gonna have to be rough back with you, and I don't want to do that. I'm definitely a fighter, but I'm not. I won't go pick a fight.
Was there ever a time in your life that was very down and negative?
Awful.
That you had to take a look at yourself and go,
awful.
Maybe you had a little self-doubt?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
Can you tell me about that?
Well, I was 18 years old, and I was living in New York, and I was doing a lot of drugs and drinking a lot. And it was, I was parties, and I was hanging out with just bad people, and I just got caught up in that whole New York scene. And I was a kid. And I was a kid that had moved went from Detroit to I'm in the big city and this is great and there's parties every night and hanging out with Steve Rebell and the owner of Studio 54. I just saw Cher and Michael Douglas and it was crazy, and I got caught up in all of that and I thought, and then by the time I was 21 I was just I was done with all of that. But I was really low. It was like a really low point in my life, and I had lost all my friends because I decided that I was like, I'm so much better than all of this, and meaning there's more for my life than this.
Right.
It's dead end. And when you change, I always say, when you begin to change, don't expect the world to applaud, because they definitely don't.
They try to bring you back down.
Yeah, people try to drag you back into the hole that they came from. Right? So
crabs in a bucket theory. We talked about that too, didn't we?
Yeah. So this is one of those situations where it was like, okay, you can be better, and then you stand alone. And I talked about that with you this week.
Absolutely.
Too. Sometimes God separates us from everybody so that He can get the glory out of you. Right? I'm not like, preachy, but I think it's so beautiful when you read stuff like that. You're like, okay, why am I being separated from everybody? Why am I standing what feels completely alone right now? So that you can interface, put your face down and be like, okay, what am I doing to create this? And how can we go forward? So that's really when everything in my life changed. And literally, when I say, once you grasp, and that's the beauty of all of this, the universe is dying to help you. Every step of the way. And everybody's like, how did you get where you're at? And I said, when you live in clarity and you understand yourself, you hear everything. Turn left, turn right, don't go here, don't go there, don't go down that road, go up here, go over there. You're keyed for success.
Right.
No matter what you're doing. If you are clear and you're listening to what is being said to you. And the universe is telling you, here, and the minute that you start doing it and you're on the right path, everything gets behind you to rally and goes, here, push you up. And all of a sudden, opportunity's coming. And then you're like, wow, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then before you know it, that thing that was holding you down is nothing you ever want to get near again, because what a waste. Because you're looking at, oh my God, I'm flying over here. I'm higher than I could ever be doing drugs, but being good and having opportunities and climbing and doing all these beautiful things that I want to do and seeing. I mean, I've been around the world 3 times. Could you imagine if I would have stayed like, oh, I'm going to party all the time and my life sucks and I'm going to lay in the gutter. I'm just like going to be a gutter rat.
So we only have like 2 minutes to go, but I really want to ask you this question too. Just by looking at you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, this is going to be tough.
What did I do now?
I mean,
that's what I always go, what did I do now? That's always my response every time somebody calls me. I'm like, what did I do now?
No, but just looking at you from the outside, there's so many things we can't see. But tell us something that we can't see that's absolutely essential to who you are as a human being.
I think, I don't know, probably Frank would probably be able to answer this better than me. I am pretty, I have a really tough exterior, but I'm really, really sensitive. I think that's probably the biggest thing about me. And
you're a softie.
Yeah, like literally, like if you're crying, I'm like crying next to you. Like, what's the matter? I don't even know what you're crying about. I'm like, you gonna be okay? It's gonna be okay, whatever it is. I get really choked up. Like when, and this is a true story. Like the first time I saw Jennifer's show, that's here in Vegas, and that's why I'm here. We used to talk about this back, like when we'd sit on the tour bus and we were promoting one song. Right? We would do Love Don't Cost a Thing. We would did it 10 million times, like in every outlet that you can imagine globally. And we just went from country to country. I mean, every day we're in a different country. And we would do Love Don't Cost a Thing, Jennifer. And we would make it seem like we were performing for Wimbledon. It was big auditorium. And I was always so amazed at how Jennifer just treated everything like this was the last thing she was ever going to do. And it taught me a lot about how to attack things too. But what was great was when I saw her show and I sat through the rehearsal, she was like, so what do you think? And I got so choked up and I was like, it's so amazing to see you manifest this, because we've talked about it so much since 2000. And here we are at 2017 and here's your show and it's amazing. So awesome. To be a part of that's really cool.
You can feel it now, can't you?
Yeah,
I know
it's really cool. It's it's amazing to be a part of something big.
We don't have much time. Tell everybody where we can see your work. You're in town for a reason, not just to train with me.
Yes.
Right?
I love training with you. I'm already getting separation anxiety.
I know, me too.
I'm like, what am I going to do?
Who am I going to talk to?
I said to Frank, I'm like, what are we going to do? Frank's like, we should move to Vegas. I was like, that's extreme, but okay. We could do that. A little stalkery. But you can go to my website, scottbarnes.com. And that's Barnes like Barnes & Noble.
All right.
Or you can go to and view my work. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Scott Barnes 68 on Instagram and Scott Barnes on Facebook.
And you'll be back here in
5 weeks.
5 weeks.
For 5 weeks in
Jennifer
September.
Lopez. And where can we see her?
At Planet Hollywood at the Access Theater.
Awesome.
Great.
Nice.
Good times.
Thanks for
Good
being
times.
here, man. This is
thanks.
really fun. This is much better than Oprah, right?
It's way better than Oprah.
All right, cool.
Oprah's shady.
She's what?
Oprah's shady. I've been on Oprah. It's shady.
She's shady.
Thanks for watching the Rise Above show. I am Joe Peroni.
I'm Heidi Mancini.
And
I'm Scott Barnes, and you better rise above.
Rise
You have no
above.
Thank
choice.
you.